Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back. This is US Home Talk. We are live every Wednesday at noon on Facebook and YouTube Live. Of course, you can catch us anytime on all of our podcasting locations. Of course, we syndicate with all the major podcasting spots, so you can listen to us when you want. However you like, but we do appreciate everyone that tunes in live on Wednesdays at noon. Jason Walgrave here with Walgrave Real Estate Group and the Minnesota Real Estate Team at REMAX Advantage Plus. We've got Marcus Walgrave with Hague Realtors, and we've got the great Mortgage Michael Overson with Luminate Home Loans. Guys, we are here. We are back. Back at it.
We are back. Hey, you know what the best thing about being podcasted is?
Tell me.
Is that not only can you listen to us whenever you want, but you can literally watch the same show over and over and over again because we're that riveting. And there's so much content and information. It's tough to take it all in just watching it one time, you know?
That is true right there, Mike. I mean, that is true.
I'm just glad we are doing a podcast indoor and not outdoor today.
Grief, it's hot outside. It is.
Yeah,
it's a cooker.
The only thing good about the weather we're having right now is that you don't have to iron your clothes because literally just put them on. You walk outside, they iron themselves in the heat and the humidity, and you're good to go. Saves you a little time there.
It saves a little time. Of course, you can't do much else outside when it's this warm, but no, we're thankful for climate control in the office here in our homes. Folks, we got a big show planned this morning. We're going to be talking about some things that are important to avoid costly repairs on your home. So we're going to go through a home maintenance checklist. I was reading through this before the show started. There's actually a couple things in there I was not aware of, and so it's always great to bring newer content, some things that we learn from as well. We've been in the business a long time collectively. I mean, I think we have almost 50 years of experience between the three of us. So it's always exciting to get new information that we were unaware of. We're going to, of course, we have our text line open during the show. That number is 612-234-7585. That's our text line. You can text any questions, folks. Anything and everything real estate related, whether you're thinking about buying, selling, investing in real estate, you have questions about financing, home improvement, credit repair, new construction, commercial real estate, anything to do with real estate. We welcome those questions and comments, and we'd love to get those answers for you and talk more about it. You can leave those questions or comments in the comment section on Facebook or YouTube as well. So whether you want to text us those questions to 612-234-7585. That is our text line. It's also our 24-hour real estate hotline number. So you can connect with any one of us anytime during the week, and all of our fantastic partners that are part of US Home Talk. It's a great way to keep in contact and allows you to get a hold of us anytime. And then, of course, on our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, we appreciate all of you that follow and like us on there, subscribe, and we'll keep you updated on upcoming shows. But again, good show plan for today. Some things that we need to think about that oftentimes we forget, but are important to keeping our home maintenance costs down and just taking better care of our homes. I think that especially with how busy everyone's lives are today and all the distractions and all of the stuff we have going on, sometimes our home maintenance checklist gets put on the back burner. So we're going to talk about some ways to save on those costs by maintaining that list. Again, folks, best way to get a hold of us anytime is our website, ushometalk.com. We've got all of our fantastic partners on there. You can connect directly with them. We've got information about Marcus, Mike, and myself. There's home search tools. There's a lot of really great features and tools on the website. And we did rebuild our website just a number of weeks ago. We're super excited about it. It's really modern. The old website was, well, it was old. And so it's nice to be kind of more up to date with our technology.
The old website was more like me and you, Jason. The new website's more like Marcus.
Hey, millennials.
That is a
Woo-hoo.
great way to put it. You've got the
Yay,
old
millennials.
website is like archaic, kind of, and yes, the new one is more like Marcus.
Yeah.
So
Now, it wasn't as bad as the Oregon Trail. So the old website was not Oregon Trail status. It wasn't that
No.
old.
no.
But yeah, it needed some updating.
It needed some updating. So, again, best way to get a hold of us anytime is our website, ushometalk.com. We appreciate everyone for tuning in live, but you can catch us anytime during the week via podcasts on all of the podcasting platforms. And then you can rewatch the show as well on Facebook and YouTube. All right, today we're talking about home maintenance checklists. First thing we're going to talk about is the roof. The roof, right? There is, I think Minnesota, I wonder what the stats are, but I think Minnesota is right up there in the last decade with highest number of roof claims per capita. Evan, that might be a question for you, but I know there's been a lot of storm damage through hail in Minnesota in the last decade. Are we close to the top of that list as far as the rest of the country?
Yes. There's a couple of factors that go into it, but yeah, we're not far off of hurricane areas.
So that's not necessarily a great thing. So
No.
my cup right now, I don't know if you can see this, but it is sweating. I'm in the building and the AC is on, but my cup is still sweating. So that's how warm it is outside. So important. What do we want to do? After a wind or hail or any type of storm, we got to check those shingles. We got to make sure that there wasn't damage. I think, I know Marcus, you and I just talked about this a couple weeks ago. Mike, you and I the three of us are on the same page. We're not going up on the roof anymore. So not getting the ladder. Our wives are not going to convince us to hang up Christmas lights anymore. So we're gonna call a professional if we think that there's some type of roof damage, shingle damage. We work closely with Eric Perkle at Bella Remodeling and Roofing. They can come out and do an inspection. It is it's really hard at times to see if there has been hail damage certainly from the ground. And so, the roofing professionals, this is what they do. They can go up there, they can identify some potential, maybe minor roof damage right now, but if it's not attended to, that over time can deteriorate the shingles, and then you can have so much bigger problems. And so whether you're down south and you've got hurricane weather, or you've got big winds, or if you're in the Midwest where there's a lot of hail, make sure to inspect the roof afterwards and make sure that it has been that it's good, that there isn't any major damage. In the winter, we also in Minnesota and South Dakota and Midwest, our winters can be tough, and they can be hard on shingles. They can be hard on roofs, especially if you've had any type of ice dams. We'll be talking a little bit later about that and how to prevent those. But our past winter, we had so much snow last winter that there was a handful of homes in our neighborhood where the snow never left the roof for 2 months. There was constant snow on your roof. And so, take a look at it at the end of winter. When the snow is melted, take a look at what your roof shingles look like, and then of course after any type of any storm or any hail or anything like that. So,
Jason, you talk about that roof, and I think about the first home that I bought. I was 20 years old, and I purchased a home in La Crosse, Wisconsin, where I was going to college. Thank you, Mike, for helping me get that loan for that.
You're welcome.
And Jason advising me and helping me find a great realtor in the area as well. But one thing that, just being a first-time home owner, one thing that I didn't really consider, right, is I bought a home that was built, I think it was built in like the 1950s approximately, and it had two large, very mature maple trees, huge trees, which was great on these hot days because the whole house was casted in the shadow from the trees. But one thing that I just didn't really understand as a first-time homeowner was that these shade trees that we may have, if a branch is starting to grow and just kind of brushes a little bit on those shingles, I mean, the tree in itself can remove years off of shingles just by the wind blowing on it, and that was something that in hindsight, I wish I would have trimmed back those trees as soon as I purchased that home.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Marcus. And in fact, it's actually on our list of home maintenance items, or the checklist is to trim those trees. But and oftentimes you don't notice it until after a storm, or maybe you still don't notice it. It's important to do that quick inspection of the house and the trees and that are around it to see how they've moved, or maybe some have partially broken and now they're on or touching or close to touching the house and the roof. We're talking about home maintenance checklists, and to have this and to do this, you can potentially avoid some pretty big costs when you're talking about maintaining your home. Jason Walgrave here with Walgrave Real Estate Group. We've got Marcus Walgrave with Hague, and Mike Overson, Mortgage Mike Overson, that is, with Illuminate Home Loans. Questions, comments, we welcome them all, folks. So anything, everything real estate related, you can put those in the comment section on Facebook, or you can text in those questions to 612-234-7585. That is our text line. Also our real estate hotline number, which you can call or text 24 hours a day to get a hold of any of us as well. All right, next on our list, we're talking about gutters. Gutters, man, I definitely have I have mixed opinion on gutters, but if you have gutters on your home, the purpose of the gutter is to take that rainfall that has come to the roof and move it away from the foundation of the home. In Minnesota here, we've got a handful of really good what they call gutter helmet companies, or gutter guards, or leaf guard. We also have a lot of trees in Minnesota and South Dakota, and so folks, if you have gutters and you don't have some type of a leaf protection product on, you're gonna have to clean those gutters.
We don't have as many trees.
Not so many trees in South Dakota.
South Dakota, yeah, maybe like around the rivers and such, but we're lacking the lakes in South Dakota. I mean, you kind of have to get to the west side to where you start getting a lot of trees, but central South Dakota, trees? pretty prairie land, a lot of grass.
Now that you're saying that, Marcus, we were out in the Black Hills a couple years ago, and I don't recall that many trees out there.
No, yeah, well, Black Hills, once you get there, but Badlands, in eastbound, we got the wind. Yeah, that's what gets us.
Lucky.
You got the wind.
You got the wind. Lucky.
But we want to keep those gutters clean, right? And so whether it's debris or leaves or branches, if those clog up, they're going to prevent that water from flowing away from the house and the foundation. In the winter, if you don't clean out your gutters in the fall, and the leaves fill up in the gutters, you're more likely to have ice dams in the winter. So what will happen is it'll snow, the sun will melt some of that snow that's on the roof, that'll run into the gutters. It won't leave because the gutters are clogged with leaves, and then it'll refreeze and you'll start to build up this ice dam. Ice dams are a major problem for the roof, which then leaks into the attic, which then leaks into the house and the ceiling. So important to keep those gutters cleaned out. And again, there's great services out there that'll come out and they'll clean out the gutters. I'm not going up on the ladder to clean out the gutters anymore.
I will admit I just did that about a month ago, and how I knew that I needed to do it because it was raining pretty hard, and there wasn't really much water coming out of the bottom of the gutter. It was spilling over the tops onto our driveway. And I'm like, looks like I've been slacking there a little bit. So I went up there, and it was just soupy, mucky gunk, right? And the whole thing was clogged. And so I had nowhere to go, but just it filled the gutter up and started spilling over the edge. So, even the people that do this for a living, can let stuff slide every once in a while.
Another good indicator that your gutters are clogged, or they may be clogged. If you look up onto the roof where the gutters are, and if there's small plants growing out of the top of the gutters, that is a good indicator that you need to have the gutters cleared out.
Gotta get that cleaned out.
And
You know,
I see that.
we talk about and kind of going back to the roof, Jason, and gutters. That's something too, where if you have a roof that has some shallow valleys in it, those leaves will sit in the valley, and maybe your gutters are clean. But again, just checking that before, winter comes rolling through, fall. I was looking at the dates here. Fall, the official fall date is Saturday, September 23rd. And again, just kind of, to your point, Mike, about how even us who are professionals in real estate, it's easy just to kind of forget the little things or just get behind the eight ball where, we get these early freezes, right? Fall's usually a damp time, a damp season. And if you do have a pile of leaves in your valleys or a pile of leaves in your gutters and you don't get to it before that first freeze, there's a good chance, because the days are so short, there's a good chance that that's not going to unfreeze. And then you're stuck with this until next late spring.
Yeah, that's a great point, Marcus. Folks, if you have real estate questions, anything and everything real estate related, you can text those questions to 612-234-7585. Our text line, again, also our real estate hotline number is 612-234-7585. Feel free to leave comments in the comment section on Facebook or on YouTube. And again, best way to get a hold of us anytime during the week is our website, ushometalk.com. All right, we're talking about ways to save on costly repairs by maintaining a home maintenance checklist. Next on our list is siding. Siding, folks, important to make sure that the siding is either well painted. So if you have wood siding or some type of hardy board, make sure that it's well painted. If you have vinyl siding or aluminum siding, make sure that there's no cracks or holes in that siding. Just take a walk around the house. Oftentimes you'll have, if it's wood siding, maybe a piece of it's deteriorated. If that's happening, you're more likely to get moisture, potentially mold, water intrusion in the house, and it's a way for pests to get in, whether it's, bugs or spiders or, mice. Maintaining that siding, making sure that it's well painted or sealed, will definitely help with some of those costs.
I laugh at this one because I was literally standing in the backyard with my neighbor a few weeks ago, and we were watching birds fly in and out of his house through the siding. He's got wood siding. A woodpecker had made a hole in there, and it was high enough. He's got a like a 4-level split, and this is way up at the top in the back, so he can't even get to it on a ladder. This thing's probably 40 feet in the air, all the way towards the peak in the back. And he knew it was happening. He just couldn't get to it. He had someone coming out to look at it, but literally we're watching birds fly in and out of his house through his siding that they had punched a hole through there. So yeah, pests can get in, and they can work their way through some siding, as my story will show. So definitely take a look around and look in those peaks for sure.
Yep, get up there. Send your drone up there. Oh, there you go.
There's a rule of thumb with siding, right? I think kind of going back to the trees and landscaping, you want that your landscaping to be 12, 18 inches away from the siding. So if you do have some beautiful bushes, whatever it might be, shade trees, you got to trim it back to get it off. Allow the siding to dry out, after rainstorms or after a wet fall or the snow melting in the spring. So you got to let that stuff dry. You talked about pests, Jason. Wood destroying insects. That's what they love. They love that damp wood. So if they can find something that just is always staying wet, they're like, hey, this is where we're gonna set up shop and make it work.
Look at Evan.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Talking about trees, Marcus, you mentioned this just a little bit ago. we got to trim the trees. Trees, I love trees, right? Folks in South Dakota, they don't so much, but I do.
No, we
I
love
do.
them. We love
Oh,
them.
you
They
love
just,
them.
you
You
know,
just
they just don't
have them.
naturally, pop up out of our 10,000 lakes. We kind of had to bring them into play.
Actually, I think we have over 14,000. But
Who's counting?
Who's counting? Here's a stat for you, Marcus. You'll appreciate this. In Minnesota, there is more lakeshore, or water frontage rather. There's more water frontage than there is in Florida, California, and Hawaii combined. There's more water frontage in the state of Minnesota than those other 3 states combined, which is pretty incredible considering, those are all ocean states, right? But anyway, back to our tree trimming. All right. So I got to keep the trees trimmed. So some trees, my goodness, they grow fast. They grow really fast. You got to keep an eye on the branches, not just the branches, folks, that are touching the house. Marcus mentioned, especially if you got some dead branches that are rubbing against the shingles, that's gonna damage them pretty quickly. But the branches that are getting close, a storm comes through, it could very easily blow that branch into the roof or onto the house. Keeping those trees trimmed back, the branches trimmed back, is an important way to help on those maintenance costs. We had one of our properties that we own. We had a branch. I didn't notice it. It was a dead branch, but it had been rubbing on the roof. I don't know for how long. I mean, it was probably more than a year, and it rubbed darn near a hole right through the shingles on there, and not even from a storm, but just from it being too close, and the wind would come up a little bit, and so something I could have avoided as far as those costs if I would have taken a little closer look at where the tree branches were and that they needed to be trimmed. So folks, keep in mind, best way to get a hold of us anytime is our fantastic website, ushometalk.com. Marcus Walgrave here, Jason Walgrave here, Mortgage Michael Overson here. We're here every Wednesday, of course, at noon live, and then you can watch us anytime via Facebook, YouTube, and then of course we're syndicated with all of the podcasting platforms, so you can tune in anytime during the week. All right, we're talking about how to avoid some home maintenance costs by having a home maintenance checklist. Tree trimming. Now let's talk about a little bit, folks, on indoors. Really important. Plumbing issues, guys. They talk about water damage is one of the most common and costly disasters on a home can experience. The average insurance claim, and Evan, you can probably attest to this, the average insurance claim is around $12,000 when you're talking about some type of water damage. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So it recommends you take a quick walk around every 3 months. Will help catch early signs of plumbing issues. Smart devices. Great example. We had, I think it's just a battery packed little, it's a water alarm basically. And so we had one underneath our sink, and about a month ago, my wife calls and she's like, there's some alarm going off. I don't know what it is. We had forgotten that we even put the alarm under there, but our faucet in the sink had started to leak a little bit, and it created a small puddle below the sink. Our water alarm, this little alarm device, had went off, so we were able to, oh wow, okay, it's called the plumber. He came in the next day and fixed it. But if we didn't have that alarm, if that hadn't gone off, that would have continued to leak until it leaked through the cabinet base, and then leaked into the floor, and then leaked into the ceiling for the basement below. And the damage would have been significant. I mean, you're talking about replacing sheetrock and cabinets and, repainting whole ceilings. And so a water alarm can do really well. And then Liz went out and she bought some extra ones, put one by the washer. I can't tell you how many clients over the years have had something happen on their wash machine, probably like an O-ring or some type of a sealant break. Seems like it always happens when they're out of town. They come home and the water's been spraying in the laundry room for the last 24 48 hours. Significant water damage from washers.
Yeah, don't they say you got to change they want you to change your hose every, what, 2-3 years on wash machines?
Is that
And
what
they
it is?
recommend that, I don't know, it's something pretty like more often than you would think. And they recommend doing the steel braided hoses too because they break less often on wash machines.
I mean, after reading through this list today, I got to create a checklist, and then I got to get somebody over to take a look at some things, because I don't know that I've ever checked the hose on the washer, and we've been there almost 10 years. So,
I just did a quick search online. You can get a 5-pack of water detectors, water leak detectors, a 5-pack for $50.
Yep.
So, if
Well
you're
worth
talking
it.
about, oh yeah, I
it's
mean,
worth every dollar.
for $50, that's a good deal.
That's a cheap insurance plan, right, Evan?
Yeah. I mean, the key consideration is not to over rely on technology, right? Because you can get these water detectors, but if you forget you have them and don't change their batteries, I'm assuming about every year, then, oh yeah, we've got water detectors.
They're not functional right now because they're out of juice, but they're
I
there.
put them there. Why didn't they go off? Honey, you
them
put those
back
there
in
6
ago.
years ago. Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully go ahead.
I was gonna say there are other things you can do, auto shut off valves and stuff like that. You can even get discounts with some carriers if you have water auto shut off valves. Yep, and it's worth doing.
Yeah, I think that's great. It talks about keep your drains clogged free. This is interesting. I didn't know this. It says pour a cup of white distilled vinegar down them a couple times a month. Let the vinegar sit for 30 to 45 minutes and then flush with cold water. I have not heard that recommendation before. I think that, certainly if you have any type of slow drain or something is going on there, make sure you address that right away. Get that unclogged. The drain should be draining, fluidly and quickly. But any type of clogged drain can potentially result in some plumbing and then water issues. It talks about the garbage disposal. Yeah, make sure that you're taking a look at the garbage disposal, making sure that that's not clogged, and it does recommend that you clean that as well. So next on our list is water heater. So over time, sediment builds up, of course, on the bottom of the water heaters, which can corrode the tank. So folks, keep an eye on that. Water heaters are, they're probably averaging $1,500 to have one of those replaced right now. So, some things that you can do to help prevent and extend the life of the water heater. It talks about flushing it out, and then looking at the water supply drain lines, looking for corrosion or something that's going on with that as well.
How long water heaters last these days?
I mean, I feel like they should last 15 years probably.
I think that's about average. If you have a cheap one, it might be a little less. A lot of the fancy tankless ones will last longer, but it varies.
Yeah, 15-ish years.
I have to replace mine very badly right now.
OliverHeatCool.com has water heater to last anywhere from 8 to 12 years, an electric water heater to last anywhere from 10 to 15. So gas 8 to 12, electric 10 to 15.
Okay.
Look at that. There we go. That's pretty good. So I was on the highest. Is yours crackling, Evan? Is it making that crackling noise?
No, mine's just its relief valve has started leaking, and it's got some rust on the bottom. It's time.
All right, folks, we're talking about home maintenance checklists, some ways to avoid some costly repairs on your home. Next one on our list is dryer vent. Yeah, man. I mean, the dryer vent. We probably have someone come in every few years and do the dryer vent clean out, but not just the inside of the house where the dryer is, but you got to look at where that dryer vent is coming on the outside. I've seen a lot of those vents, folks, when we're doing home inspections or we're showing houses, and they're clogged. I mean, I have no idea how anything is coming out of them. These are things that can cause fires. They will reduce the efficiency of your dryer. And again, pretty easy thing to maintain as long as you're staying on top of it. But you got to make sure those dryer vents are cleared out and clean and maintained.
Saw a YouTube video of a guy the other day. And it was just a random reel that popped up through my thing. Said easiest way to clean out your dryer vent. The guy pulls his dryer away from his wall, grabs his leaf blower, and sticks his leaf blower in the dryer vent and just hits it. And then he's got a video of him inside, and then he also videoed it from the outside. Yeah. And all the crap that came out of that dryer vent when he hit it was crazy. I mean, there was much stuff that came out.
That's a great idea.
So give that a little try. And then have someone outside record it on a phone, just see how much crap comes out when you're inside blowing that thing out.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no animals that come out with it, right?
But I mean, dryer vents too. I mean, you don't think about that, but Evan, I mean, it's one of the leading causes of home fires, isn't it? It's got to be top 3, right? Dryer vents.
I'm not sure if it's as much of a leading cause as it used to be, but it is very common, and it is absolutely kind of like the biggest own goal of all of them. A lot of them are things that you wouldn't necessarily prepare for, or it's sudden, whereas with a dryer vent is sort of like the ultimate avoidable thing.
Right.
Yep, definitely. Next one we're going to talk about, folks, is your stove and hood vents. Reading this one, it reminds me I need to do this again. So you've got your hood vents that are above your stove in your cooking. Have you, Marcus or Mike or Evan, have you ever taken that bottom piece off and cleaned it out before?
Mm-hmm. Just did about a month ago.
I run mine through the dishwasher about every 6 months.
Okay. Thanks, Evan.
Mike, you're looking at me like you've never done this.
I mean, have I done it? Yes. Can I remember the last time that I did it? No, it was so long ago that I have no idea the last time I did it. So I'm definitely faulty there.
The last time I did it, I mean, I cannot believe the amount of grease that I scooped out of that thing. It was a shockingly large amount. Plus I can't believe I didn't smell it because there was so much in there, all that grease. But that's one of the big recommendations. Make sure you clean those out, and it will help with potential costs. Refrigerator. All right, here's one this is one I had no idea about this. All right, here's what it says. Refrigerator coils are critical to cooling. Most homeowners don't vacuum their refrigerator coils routinely. I did not know you were supposed to vacuum the refrigerator coils. Nearly 1 in 5 homeowners say they did not know they had to vacuum the refrigerator coils. I did not know that. But what they're talking about, what they're recommending that you do is dust and dirt can reduce performance and energy, increase energy bills. Vacuum or clean under and behind your refrigerator twice a year is what they're saying to help maintain peak performance. Guys, I can tell you that I haven't pulled my refrigerator out in 10 years. Ever.
Dude, that thing's going to be so nasty underneath there. Unreal. And you typically you don't have to pull them out, right? There's like the kick plate down below that you can take off, and then you can see right underneath there, and then just, get one of those little extension things on your vacuum, the plastic thingies, and turn that thing on and stick it in there and start moving it around. I mean, you're going to have so much crap underneath there, especially with dogs, because you're going to have you'll have a little dog hair that build up down there. You'll have dust. You'll have all that stuff. I mean, it's
all right, Overson. You're talking pretty smart right now. When's the last time you've done this?
Probably 2 or 3 months ago.
Really?
Our kick plate on our fridge falls off a lot because the kids have broken it at some point, right? And I just haven't replaced it. So then I just scoot it, I scoot it up in there and get it as tight as I can, and I leave it. Well, then, of course they're going by and they kick the thing off again. And so now I have to go back down there and push it back on. So I'm constantly underneath there, and as long as it's off, I'm like always looking like, oh, how bad is it in there? And just grab the vacuum quick and whatever. So I don't know if I should like pay my kids for helping me maintain that,
Probably.
or not.
Yep.
But
Yeah, you should reward them.
but I'm telling you, you're gonna have a huge buildup underneath there if you literally have never done that.
Never done it.
Dude, it's gonna look like you got an Ewok underneath your fridge.
A second dog.
Yeah, a second dog underneath there.
I have a
Chewbacca's
Labrador.
underneath
I have a Labrador, so having this conversation, I'm gonna have to put this at the top of my list because we vacuum quite often in our house, and yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
going on. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll need to jump on that right away.
Folks, best way to get a hold of us anytime is our website, ushometalk.com. We are, of course, live every Wednesday at noon. We've got a fantastic website, ushometalk.com. All of our fantastic partners. You can connect with Marcus, Mike, myself, Evan, and everyone else. We appreciate how everyone tunes in live, but you can catch us anytime. And that's the beautiful thing about podcasts. That's why we switched over to this platform this year is because we know that people, they want to listen or they want to watch when they have time or when they want to. And so, the days of scheduling your 7:00 on Thursday to watch a show, that's gone. You watch it when you can or when you want to, and it's streaming. And so that's why we've moved to this platform. We do appreciate everyone tuning in this week. We will be back next week with some more fantastic information. But in the meantime, if it's warm out, stay cool, and I hope you guys all have a great week.